to ensure abortion services continue in St. Louis. Planned Parenthood says it may be forced to stop providing abortions at its St. Louis facility because the state is now threatening to not renew its license. Governor Mike Parson held a news conference today saying the issue is about quality of care.
You know, look, this is not an issue about the pro-life issue at all. This is about a standard of care for women in the state of Missouri. Whether it's this clinic or any other clinic or any other hospital, they should have to meet the same standards. They know what these standards are. They know they were deficient. They had the deficiencies. They've had 2 months to correct that and to abide by the law. That's all we're asking for.
If the license is not renewed by this Friday, Missouri would become the first state without a functioning abortion clinic since the 1973 Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision. Well, in a follow-up story for you now, over several months, business and faith leaders based in the Branson area have come together to address poverty in Stone and Taney counties. Our Crystal Blair has that story.
Poverty is a state of mind, and it's also in your heart. It's not just financial. Poverty can be spiritual, emotional.
The first phase of the Poverty Research Initiative was researching the core issues. The second phase was listening to the community, and Wednesday's third phase was about developing strategies. Kevin Huddleston, Executive Director of Christian Action Ministries, talked about the main focus of Wednesday's meeting.
Both look back at the accomplishments that we've made over the last year or so, as far as the poverty initiative for Stone and Taney counties is concerned, and projecting forward as to where do we go now, what are the next steps.
50 miles.
The audience was asked to use their smartphones for an exercise that gave them a virtual life of poverty experience.
Anytime you can capture people's thoughts on the fly like that, you're going to get rich input. And so I thought it was very valuable that it was interactive that way.
There was also a panel of 3.
I also grew up with substance abuse.
Who spoke candidly about their real life experiences living in need and drug addiction and how they overcame. Jared Stanley explained why sharing his personal story in public was important.
I knew it was an opportunity for me to grow and hopefully touch people that don't really know a lot about the poverty, you know. Hopefully it changes somebody's heart, somebody's mind.
Panel member Carla Perry shared what she believes is the first step to helping people who live in poverty.
Know that they're loved and that they're worth saving. Know that there is hope on the other end and that there are people willing to help them.
The lack of transportation for those who live in outlying areas was also emphasized. In Point Lookout, Crystal Blair, Ozarks First.
In regional news now, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson has signed an emergency proclamation after massive rainfall has caused flooding along the Arkansas River.
The levee system that was built by the Army Corps of Engineers was not built for the level of flooding that we expect under the modeling that we've seen.
Hutchinson is now formally asking for federal assistance. There are 12 state highways that are already closed due to the flooding, and the water levels are expected to continue to rise. And in Missouri, Senator Roy Blunt visited Carl Junction this afternoon, commending volunteer groups who have pitched in after tornadoes struck the area last week.
They really do tend to bring strong communities together and make strong communities stronger. People that rebuild together are stronger because of it, and we've seen that happen in this area before, and I'm sure we're seeing that happen again.
Well, there's still a lot of work to do in Carl Junction, as you can see, and the city is still looking for volunteers to pitch in and help. Well, thunderstorms brought some damaging hail near Hollister and Branson this afternoon. You can see the hail. You can see the video here in a minute. The hail actually left some holes in the siding of some homes off BB Highway near Hollister. You can see that tree down right there as well. The storm was also strong enough to break some windows of some homes. And Branson emergency officials actually activated the warning sirens to notify people who were outdoors, either shopping or playing golf or whatever it was, to seek shelter from the high winds and hail, which was measured from 1/4 size to 1/2 inch. Wow. Well, turning now to our weather here locally. Jamie, we might catch a break the next couple days with this weather, hopefully.
Yeah, after that one final batch of severe weather in and around the Branson area, it looks like our pattern is finally shifting gears. We are going to see things get a lot quieter, at least for the next few days here in the Ozarks. Thankful to see that. I think you are too. I'll have that in your forecast coming up next.
You're watching Ozarks Fox News at 9 with John Adams, Jennifer Abreu, and weather with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner. And now, weather, real, new, now, with Chief Meteorologist Jamie Warner.
You know, the last couple of days featured at least the chance of severe weather, but we got through both days pretty quietly, and I'm pretty thankful for how today went, with the exception of in and around the Branson area, where we did have some large hail. This morning, we saw storms fire up in Oklahoma. They spread east-northeast, and this really kind of took the punch out of the atmosphere early enough in the day so that severe weather chances weren't really realized on a larger scale. Now, I mentioned down around Branson, we actually saw that hailstorm begin toward the border around Blue Eye, stretching northeast across the Branson area into Hollister and Kirbyville. Kirbyville reports of hail up to baseball size. Here's a picture of some of the hail back in Blue Eye, though, and you can see there we had hail. This is actually Doug Dean that sent in that photo. Hail that was maybe approaching golf ball size. The pattern, though, is shifting gears right now. The trough in the western U.S. is moving through the midsection of the country right now and will push into the eastern U.S. What this will do is it will knock the Gulf of Mexico moisture back. It'll allow less humid conditions to move into the Ozarks, and we're not going to find these storms impacting the midsection of the country like we've seen over the last couple of weeks. We're actually going to see much quieter weather, and then when the storm chances return, it's going to be a different scenario, and I'm going to get to that in a second. Here's a look at what's going on right now. We have had a couple of pockets of severe weather today, one in the northeast, things looking better there. Still looking at a severe weather threat across parts of Texas and to southern areas of Arkansas, but again, for us, severe weather threat is completely over with, and it looks like for many areas the rain is over with, although south of the interstate we've still got some patches of light to occasionally moderate rain. By morning, a cold front will sweep across the area. That'll usher in drier air. less humidity, and we're going to find a beautiful day on Thursday. It looks like skies are going to be mostly sunny. We're going to find mild temperatures. We're going to find lower humidity. Just a great spring day versus the summer-like conditions that we've seen over the last week or so. There will be a threat for maybe a few isolated showers, though, to pop up in areas from Versailles southeast down across Rolla. Looking at our pattern, again, overnight tonight, rain moving out this evening. Looks like we'll find partly to mostly cloudy skies. It looks like, especially in areas that have had some rain, there could be some patchy fog that tries to develop. For the morning hours, we're going to find mostly sunny conditions, and then during the afternoon, it looks like we'll continue to hold on to mostly sunny conditions across most of the area. 58 for the low tonight. Again, watching out for a little bit of patchy fog. Tomorrow, we'll find temperatures topping out in the mid-70s. A day where we can open up those windows. We can turn off the air conditioner after having to run it for the last couple of weeks. Winds will be out of the west-northwest at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. Now, the pattern this weekend into next week will look like this. It'll feature more of a ridge across the midsection of the country. That does not mean that we're going to be storm-free. We will have a chance for showers and thunderstorms, but the jet stream will be positioned so far to the north and so far to the east that there won't be a lot of wind energy over the area. So with that, it looks like the storm chances that we see develop as we get into this upcoming weekend and beyond, they will likely not produce much, if any, in the way of severe weather, although we could find some locally heavy rains. Looking at our 7-day forecast, again, quiet weather for Thursday and for Friday. Highs up near 80 degrees on Friday after a morning with lows maybe in the middle 50s. Saturday, a spotty storm risk. Same for Sunday. Highs in the low to mid 80s. Lows not too bad in the morning, down in the low 60s. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I think, will feature a better chance for showers and thunderstorms, particularly on Tuesday and Wednesday, with highs in the low 80s. And the pattern that we're looking at, John, that we see there on the 7-day, that's actually a pattern that's very typical for early summer. We're finally shaking free of this spring severe weather season.
That's going to be nice, especially the next couple days, because I think we're all ready for just a pleasant day, low humidity, and just a little bit of sunshine, too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we've got a lot of things to worry about in our life. Let's take the weather part of it off the table, right?
Exactly. All right, Viewers Club, we had a winner, right?
We did have a winner. Greg down in Nixo won $1,600. Congratulations to him. We've reset our jackpot to $100. Tonight's winning number 201500.
Yeah, congrats for sure. It's been a while since we've had a big winner.
Yeah, that's a big winner.
Much money.
Yeah.
Big winner for sure. Well, coming up next, we dive into UFOs.
Did you buy a moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly.
We'll share with you what two pilots have discovered and what the military is saying about it. Don't go away.
real, new. Now you're watching Ozarks Fox News.
Welcome back. Well, a dramatic canine takedown captured on camera in California. The incident happened Saturday outside of an IHOP. Video shows a man facing off with an officer and his canine partner, while diners inside the restaurant can be heard shouting at him to stand down. Moments later, the canine moves in and takes the man down. You can see it right there, and you can hear the people screaming in the background, allowing officers after the takedown time to swarm in and make an arrest. Police say the exchange all began with 911 calls from customers inside the IHOP who reported the man was screaming and threatening staff. Witnesses say the man refused to calm down when the officer and the canine arrived on scene. The man is now in police custody, facing charges for resisting arrest. Well, in national news now, the Navy is giving new guidance for reporting unidentified flying objects, better known as UFOs. Jennifer Griffin has that story from the Pentagon.
4 years ago, on a training mission off the east coast of the United States before deploying to the Middle East, a pair of F-18 Navy Super Hornet pilots captured on their advanced radar an unidentified flying object.
Did you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly.
Objects with no visible engine or infrared exhaust plumes that reach 30,000 feet and hypersonic speeds. The New York Times reported that during the summer of 2014 through early spring 2015, sightings were nearly a daily occurrence.
You have objects that are doing things, maneuvering in ways without any obvious sign of propulsion.
Last month, the Navy announced it was establishing new classified guidelines for how its pilots report unidentified aerial phenomena. Doing so in the past was considered a career ender. Navy Commander David Fravor remembers the first time he saw one in 2004 flying off San Diego.
Both airplanes see a disturbance in the water and a white 40-foot long tic-tac shaped object just hovering above the water. Going forward, back, left, right. There's no rotor wash, there's no wings, nothing.
Some say the sightings began after the Navy installed a new radar system, an upgrade from 1980s era radar. Others say they could be enemy spy drones or a classified program operated by the U.S. government, or weather balloons like the ones found in Roswell, New Mexico, which launched a whole generation of UFO sightings. Commercial pilots have been reporting unidentified flying objects for years.
I don't know what it was. It wasn't an airplane. Yeah, something just passed over us. I don't know what it was.
Funding for the Pentagon's Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program ended in 2012, but now there is a new secret guidance about how military pilots should report these phenomena. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
Well, we have some good news to bring you this evening as well. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek appears to be winning his battle against pancreatic cancer. Almost 3 months after the TV host announced that he'd been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer, Trebek told People magazine that he is, quote, near remission. The 78-year-old says that his doctors are shocked at how well his tumors are responding to chemotherapy. Some of his tumors have shrunk by almost 50%. Trebek said, quote, it's kind of mind-boggling, and that his doctors informed him that they hadn't seen this kind of positive result in their memory. The game show host credits his supportive fans and their good thoughts, positive energy, and prayers for helping him through such a tough time. Well, Jeopardy is definitely one of my favorites, so I'm glad to hear that as well. We'll have more news coming up after this. Well, thrill seekers in Paris get a chance to zip line from the Eiffel Tower. How cool is that? Volunteers taking a ride off the second floor balcony of the world's famous tower down to the ground, picking up speeds of, get this, 55 miles per hour. The free rides will be available only to a select few who are picked on an online lottery on social media. And the zip line opens tomorrow and will be in place until June the 11th. Would you ever try that?
I think I might. I think I might do that. That looks doable.
That looks like that's like the ultimate, like, when in Rome. When in Paris, if you're going to be at the Eiffel Tower, you might as well zip line down it, right?
It is pretty way up there, though. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's easier to do than like those over-the-edge challenges where you go, like, you're on the top of a skyscraper and you just go over the edge. Oh, yeah, that would not, no. I would not do that either, but maybe I could zip line. I don't know. More news coming up right after this.
forecast first on Color 10 News Ozarks First.
Well, we saw the rain wrap up here in Springfield actually before sunset. Saw a little bit of sunshine, even a little bit of a rainbow if you were looking off to the east this evening. Conditions right now looking pretty quiet across most of the area. We still got a little bit of light rain near and south of the state line. That should wrap up probably around midnight or shortly thereafter. Temperatures are in the low 60s. Looks like there may be some potential for some patchy fog, especially in areas that had some wet weather today. Also kind of a cool start to our Thursday. About 59 at 8 o'clock. By 10 o'clock we'll be up to 63. Noon temperature of about 68 and afternoon highs in the mid-70s. Open window weather. We will find humidity though returning this weekend along with a chance for at least some spotty storms. More on that coming up. Color 10 News at 10 starts now.
Now, from Ozarks First, you're watching Color 10 News at 10.
And our top story at 10 tonight, Special Counsel Robert Mueller broke his silence after 2 years explaining his decision not to rule on obstruction.
He made it clear he did not exonerate President Trump of obstruction of justice. Nicole Killian has more now from the White House.
Special Counsel Robert Mueller made his first and possibly last public statement on the Russia investigation.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so.
Mueller's roughly 10-minute prepared statement renewed discussion among leading congressional Democrats who are considering their next steps.
With respect to impeachment question, at this point, all options are on the table, and nothing should be ruled out.
We are on a path that we would hope that if it is justified for the impeachment, that it would be clear to the Senate as well.
Mueller said he was unable to exonerate the president of obstruction of justice, echoing what he wrote in his more than 400-page report. And he said Justice Department policy would not allow a sitting president to be charged with a crime.
The opinion says that the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing.
The president and his administration have repeatedly claimed the Mueller report clears him of obstruction.
We think the president has been fully and completely exonerated.
After Mueller's comments, the president tweeted, "There was insufficient evidence, and therefore in our country, a person is innocent." At a college commencement in New York City, Hillary Clinton touched on the Russia investigation.
It seems absolutely clear that we've got to deal with what has been investigated and reported.
As for Mueller, he says his investigation is finished and he is resigning from the Justice Department to return to private life. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
In his statement today, Robert Mueller said there were multiple systematic efforts to interfere in the 2016 presidential election.
Louisiana is the sixth state joining Missouri to pass a heartbeat abortion bill. Lawmakers passed that bill today, but in St. Louis, the last abortion clinic in the state may soon lose its license. Today, Governor Mike Parsons says that it must make changes to its facility. A Department of Health investigation revealed there are potential deficiencies by doctors involved in patient care. Planned Parenthood says that complaint isn't based on medicine or facts and has filed a lawsuit to keep its license. The clinic has until Friday to make changes. Governor Parsons says this issue is about quality of care.
You know, look, this is not an issue about the pro-life issue at all. This is about a standard of care for women in the state of Missouri. Whether it's this clinic or any other hospital, they should have to meet the same standards. They know what these standards are. They know they were deficient. They had the deficiencies. They've had 2 months to correct that and to abide by the law. That's all we're asking for.
If the license is not renewed, Missouri will become the first state without an abortion clinic since the 1973 Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision.
Also tonight, new at 10, a Springfield man accused of rape and trafficking 2 underage girls for sex has now entered an Alford plea. Robert McCaw did not plead guilty to the crimes, but rather he agreed the state had enough evidence to convict him. Today, a judge sentenced him to 10 years in prison for endangering the welfare of a child. 2 years ago, police say McCaw took runaway girls to his house in Greene County. Evidence shows he then forced the girls to do drugs, made them perform sexual services for money, and had plans to transport them to Arizona for prostitution.